This tutorial addresses the topic of legal research. The goal of this tutorial is to have you understand the fundamental tenets of legal research. One objective is to have you be able to identify and distinguish primary sources and secondary sources. Another objective is that you shall recognize when to use different legal sources in the research process. Finally, you will be able to recognize a source as mandatory authority or persuasive authority. If an area of law is new to you, you should begin with a secondary source, not a primary source. A primary source is the law itself. It's usually written by a government entity or official, such as a court, a legislature, or an administrative agency. Examples of primary sources include statutes, regulations and decisions, and case law. Secondary sources are not the law itself. They discuss and analyze the law. They provide commentary and terminology as well as citations to primary sources. They have a broad range of authors, including legal professionals such as judges and lawyers, scholars, and even law students. Examples of secondary sources include restatements, periodicals, loose-leaf services, ALRs or annotated law reports, legal encyclopedias, treatises and hornbooks, and dictionaries. This chart illustrates the steps you will take to do legal research. You start with a secondary source, and from the secondary source, you get your primary sources, your statutes, your cases, and sometimes regulations and decisions of administrative agencies. So now we'll discuss secondary sources a little more in depth. Restatements arrange the common law according to topic, along with commentary, illustrations, and notes. They're written by the American Law Institute, a group of legal scholars, lawyers, and judges. You've probably read segments of the Restatement of Contracts and of the Law of Torts. Annotated law reports are collections of essays that evaluate and discuss particular narrow legal issues. The most famous and thorough of these are the American Law Reports by Thompson West. Loose-leaf services deal with regulation-heavy topics such as Medicare, tax, or securities. The loose-leaf structure facilitates easy updating of these regulations. An example of a loose-leaf service is the Federal Tax Reporter. Periodicals include legal newspapers, law school journals, and law reviews, and bar association journals. They provide commentary and analysis of the current state of the law. Dictionaries define terms in their legal sense. The most prominent of these in the United States is Black's Law Dictionary. Treatises are book-length descriptions and explanations of a particular area of law. A hornbook is a one-volume treatise dealing with a topic addressed in a law school course. Legal encyclopedias are extensive compilations of articles on legal matters. The two major encyclopedias are Corpus Juris Secundum, or CJS, and American Jurisprudence, or AmJur. There are also encyclopedias that address state law. A good example of one is New York Jurisprudence. And you usually want to start with a treatise, a hornbook, or a legal encyclopedia, because they're more general discussions of the law. So let's look at how the Legal Encyclopedia American Jurisprudence works. This is section 138 of volume 45A of American Jurisprudence. It deals in job discrimination. At the very top, we see the title of this article, Sexual Orientation as Basis for Protection from Sex Discrimination or Transgender Status. The top half of the entry is a discussion of the law. Right away it mentions Title VII, so we know we are working with a federal statute. As we read through, we see important terminology such as sex stereotyping. Furthermore, we see discussion of case law with accompanying footnotes at the bottom and citations. A few to take note of are Price Waterhouse versus Hopkins, Ulaine versus Eastern Airlines, and Schroer versus Billington. A final important point on the last 2 pages. The entry mentions a decision of the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, Macy versus Holder. I want to highlight this because later on I will use this case to demonstrate the relationship among statutes, case law, and administrative regulations and decisions.